For more on the issues that are behind this caravan and what's next, let's bring in former prosecutor David Bruno this morning and Republican candidate for Congress in New Jersey, Steve Lonegan. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
David, let's start with the legal aspect of this. Obviously, you can't arrest children. There's a lot of women and children here, but there are human rights lawyers on the grounds. What can they do to actually help these people, if anything?
Well, I actually spoke with one of them this morning, and what they're doing is they're counseling them on the law so that they could understand the process a little bit more. My understanding is that a lot of them have come with documents, and first thing is they're going to have to show that they're in credible fear of persecution. It's a very tough situation right now because they're full to capacity, and right now they are waiting outside, sleeping in cardboard boxes. So there's a process under the federal law that this should follow.
Well, Steve, you know, the federal law is one thing, but the federal public of opinion is something else. And this is a very divisive issue, obviously, for Americans. The president has come out very strong, in particular over the weekend, about illegals coming into this country. But does he run the risk of seeming insensitive when it's mostly in this group, women and children, who, again, are fleeing persecution?
You know, Cheryl, the question Americans should be asking, and the president should ask, because the president is absolutely right. They're using our laws against us. Is who organized this? Who back in the Honduras put this group together? They didn't just come together spontaneously. These people allegedly have no money, and they just suddenly organized a caravan. They had forces behind them. Maybe it was the Democrat Unity Party of Honduras, which is a coalition of left-wing groups. But this is designed to challenge our laws, challenge our borders, make America look bad. I think it's a political stunt, and I think it's politically driven by forces that are trying to take down this administration. The president is 100% right. And you know what was a real telling visual? It was these people marching through the streets of Tijuana carrying Honduran flags and chanting, not carrying American flags. Not saying we want to be Americans, saying we're Hondurans, we're coming in, we're going to invade your country. Because this is an invasion. It's not a migration. Someone's behind this. And I have another question. Where's the United Nations?
All right.
Where's the United Nations?
Well, the United Nations is, I guess, doing a wait-and-see approach. But, David, at the same time, again, the legal argument for all of this is that, you know, we are a country that does accept asylum seekers. If the documentation is there, is the president just going to have to accept that we will bring them into this country as asylum seekers?
Well, he definitely has to accept the law. It's 8 U.S.C. 1225, and that sets forth the process. And we have to accept them. We have to process them, and they will be detained. It's not like they are going to be released into the United States during the pendency of this proceeding. They will be detained, and there is a standard that has to be met. Our government has a very extensive and thorough vetting process, and generally speaking, we do not let a large amount of people in this way. So he has to be patient, and he has to understand that instead of painting things with a broad brush, it has to really be looked at on a case-by-case basis.
Steve, do you agree or disagree with that notion?
No, I disagree, because they could have gone to the American embassy in the Honduras and gone through the process, and they're not being patient. Patience is not marching through Tijuana chanting, carrying Honduran flags and chanting. Patience is not getting married at the very last second at the border to try to beat our laws. This is an orchestrated effort by the same people who I believe funded the March for Our Lives and Antifa and these other groups. This is not an accident. This is a political movement.
Well, Steve, to your point, right now the reports are that there are human rights attorneys, there are support groups, especially from the state of California, that are there to welcome them with open arms and basically protesting to let these migrants through. So again, it's a divisive issue, and it's playing out in San Diego right now. We'll see how the day goes today for these folks. David, Steve, thank you very much.